welcome back. We are back for some more true crime. We are talking Obsession, Dark Desires, Season 3, Episode 9. But before we get into it, if you have not subscribed, please do. Help me grow my channel by becoming a subscriber, hitting that thumbs up, and leaving comments. Now on to the show. So this takes place in Melbourne, Florida, and we're following a lady named Kaylin Martin. Kaylin is 18 years old. She's a little bit of a loner. She loves comics. She's all about superheroes. She loves mysteries types things, but she has trouble in school a little bit. She's not one of the most popular kids, so sometimes they don't treat her nicely. She doesn't fit in with the jocks or the geeks, but she's extremely smart. She's just a superhero kind of girl. And sometimes she gets really sad about the way people treat her at school. So she keeps a diary, and sometimes in her diary she writes how she wished she could be a superhero and have some sort of superpower and be able to get away from all of the people at school. It's really difficult for her as the years progress. Her senior year of high school, they get a new student. His name is Paul Gomez. And Paul is actually from Chicago, but he's recently moved to Florida. When he gets to school, he actually ends up sitting next to her and finding out that she is just as into comics as he is. So it turns out that they have a lot in common. They are both superhero crazy. It's the senior year of high school. They find different activities to do. They joined some sort of superhero walk, some kind of group where they dress up like their favorite superheroes and they go for this walk for charity. They also have other events on weekends where they dress up like their favorite character and do role playing, things like that. They hit it off beautifully, and they decide that they like each other a little more than just friends. They decide they want to start dating, and everything is going great until Kaylin gets her acceptance letter to the University of Central Florida. When she gets the letter, she is out of control excited, like any college kid would be. Any student who is excited about going to college, when that letter comes, you are freaked out, you are nervous, you are scared. But as you open that letter up and you see the word congratulations, it is over. Your mind is blown. You are absolutely excited. Well, she was over the moon. Paul was not. Paul told her that he wanted her to stay right there where she was. He felt that if she went off to school, their relationship would break up, and he doesn't want anything to change between them. He only wants it to be him and her.
One minute you're asking me to roleplay club, the next you're telling me you're off to college. It's kind of sudden, isn't it?
Paul, this is college we're talking about. This is a big deal. This is my life.
Look, this may sound weird, but I don't want you to go away, Kay. This will change everything. It'll change us. I like you, Kaylin. Actually, I love you.
To me, as an adult, and I would think younger me too, would read that as some sort of sign. Things are not looking good here, Paul. We're kids, we're graduating high school soon. The next step in life is either you go to college or you get a job, you start growing up. And it seemed that Paul wanted to stay just like they were. He didn't want to progress or move or change. And Kaylin was not in that same mindset. She told him that even though she's going off to college, things would still be the same. They would still be a couple. In August of 2012, Kaylin starts college. She moves into her dorm. She is extremely excited. She's happy to get away from all those people from high school, start over fresh in college, and just live her life, live the college dream, meeting new people, having new adventures, starting your life as a young adult. She was truly excited about the whole thing. Paul told Kaylin that he was actually going to move back to Chicago and take some classes at a local community college there. He was also going to get a job as a security officer at a museum there. So she's there in Florida. She's thinking that He's back in Chicago, and things are looking. She knows it's going to be a little hard having a long distance relationship, but she's positive that they can work it out, that things will be good for the two of them. However, on her first day of school, as she's unpacking everything, setting up her room, and she was actually able to get a private room, so she didn't have to share or worry about roommates. Paul calls her. She tells Paul she'll have to call him back. She's got a meeting. She had things that she needed to do. She goes to handle that stuff, and Paul freaks out. He starts to call her around the clock, leaving message after message.
Hi, it's me. It's 5 and you said you'll call me back. I just wanted to say I love you. I miss you. Nothing's gonna change. Kaylin, I hope you're okay. I haven't heard back from you.
Hi, this is Kaylin. I can't take your call right now.
I hope you're okay. Please call me.
That to me is sign number 2. Things are not going well, Paul. This is just day 1. Relax. Shortly after that, Kaylin joined a community fraternity, which is a co-ed fraternity, and what they do is they work together to support the community. They do all sorts of community service, and she thought this is the best fraternity for her to join because it has guys and girls and she gets to give back. So she's out in the quad talking to some of the members of her fraternity, and she turns around.
Paul, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in Chicago? Oh, this is so cool. I can't believe you're here.
Hey dude, Sam. Kaylin's told me all about you.
Kaylin, can we go somewhere and talk, please?
Nope. Clue number 3. Oh, what are you doing here, Paul? Shouldn't you be back in Chicago, either registering for class or over at the museum? What are you doing here? She says that she tries to introduce Paul to some of her friends from her fraternity, and Paul didn't want to have anything to do with them. He told her that they need to spend their time together, just the two of them. That's another sign. When you try to keep the person away from other people, that's isolation, and that is not good. Not a good sign. He tells her that he's staying for the weekend and he's gonna stay in her room. So this way, he doesn't have to pay for a hotel or anything. And then he starts to question her wardrobe, the way she dresses, the way she talks to people. He doesn't like the fact that she has conversations with other men, period. No, the girl is in college. Sorry. That's how it goes. I mean, how many high school couples actually make it through college when they both go to either 2 different colleges or just 2 different paths? Usually it doesn't work out because there's so many people in college, and you're growing and you're changing and you're learning. Paul was doing too much. They move on to Christmas of 2012. Paul is actually at Kaylin's house with her family, and he's getting kind of agitated because she's not giving every second to him.
Sam?
Why is he calling you? He sees you all the time at college.
Give me my cell phone, Paul. He's just a friend, you know that.
Are you with him? Are you? Are you? You're a slut!
It was scary to see him go from being so calm and collected to being so angry.
Screwing guys behind my back. How many others are there?
That right there, the end of the relationship. Paul would have been thrown out of my home, and he would have been blocked on all social media, all devices. Bye, Paul. Never to hear from me again. She should have ran, but she said this was the first relationship she's ever had. Paul continued to call her, send letters, and, tell her how sorry he was. He wanted to get back with her. That's how it goes, right? Isn't that how it always starts? After that first hit, I'm sorry. Don't believe it. She says that was the first time that he's ever put hands on her. That when she looks back on it, it was definitely a red flag. That was 100 red flags, Kaylin. I mean, wow, that was 100 red flags and flashing lights, Kaylin. She really enjoys her fraternity and her schoolwork, but she ends up having to put some of that stuff on the back burner because Paul wanted to have all of her time. She says that her grades started to suffer, her charity work started to suffer, and she was feeling smothered and stressed over the situation with Paul, and she really didn't know if she could be with him anymore. 1 week after that assault, Kaylin walks into her dorm room and Paul is there laying on the bed. And she asked him, how did he get in her room and what is he doing there?
Surprise.
What? How did...
Not hard to pick that lock. You should be more excited to see me.
I am.
There are a lot of photos online of you and guys. A lot. That's not good for me to see.
It's not good for you? They're my friends. I've done nothing wrong.
Well, he doesn't take this well. He gets really upset. And when he gets angry, she just relents and tells him, hey, I've got to go to work, but just stay here. We'll get something to eat later. Oh, God. He tells her that he can stay as long as he wants. He doesn't have anywhere to be. She tells him he can stay for a couple of days and that's it. That is another example of you need to get rid of him. He's got way too much time on his hands. If all he can think about and do is be with you 24/7, something is mentally not right. 8 days after the assault, Paul is still around. He has not left her dorm room. He has not left her side. The only space that she is getting from Paul is when she goes to class. And it is starting to show in her work, her attitude, everything. She is completely stressed out.
Kaylin,
Where have you been?
you've been gone for 8 hours. I haven't eaten all day. I'm hungry.
Paul, I was at work, then class.
Goodbye, Paul. Seriously. Right then, she should have called campus security and said, please get him out of my room. And then she should have probably tried to file some kind of order of protection. They may not have given it to her, but at least start the groundwork. This is getting to be ridiculous. 3 weeks after the assault, Paul is still in her dorm room living there. What? How is this happening? Who are the people who monitor the dorms? What is going on? Where are they? How is this dude still here 3 weeks later? She decides to approach it head on. She tells Paul, listen, you have got to go home. My grades are falling. I am stressed out. It is too much. You are smothering me. Don't you care about my feelings? She tells him that she has looked up flights and there is a flight that leaves at 3 o'clock. You need to pack up your things and go. He absolutely loses it. He is ticked. She tells him that she has to go to work. She works 35 hours a week and still has a full course schedule at school. She goes off to work. She tells him, head over to the airport because your flight leaves at 3. She's at work. This dude shows up at her job, frightens the heck out of her. She's like, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you.
I need to speak to you.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah, I'm going soon, but can we just go to your place and talk
No.
for a little while, please?
Paul, your flight's in an hour.
I know, and I'm going. I promise. I just need to speak to you one last time.
Oh, what you
Get
doing?
off me! I'm leaving. Don't do this to me, Kaylin. I love you.
She gets off work, and as she's walking out, one of her coworkers says, oh, just so you know, Paul's outside sitting on your car. It's 11 o'clock at night. She can't get away from this dude. She goes outside and she asks him, what are you doing here? Your flight was at 3 o'clock. He tells her that he's bought a later flight, that he is gonna leave, but he would just like some alone time so that they could talk. She tells him absolutely not. She gets in her car and she drives back to her dorm. She finds out later that he misses the other flight because he tries to go through TSA with a bag of coins and they would not let him on the plane. This dude gets a hotel and he sticks around. Oh my God. 5 weeks after the assault, he is still in town and she has no idea where he is. He calls her often, but she's always watching her back to see, is he around? Is he here in town, or is he calling me from Chicago? She has no idea where he is, but she is scared out of her mind. And I would too. I mean, ask yourself, you are a child practically. You're like 18, 19 years old. You're a college student, first boyfriend ever, and he's acting like this. Totally would freak me out. Paul continues to call, so she answers one of his calls, and while she's on the phone with him, she actually gets online with her phone company and changes her phone number in mid-conversation. So she tells him at the end of the conversation that it's over, she doesn't want to be bothered anymore, and she hangs up. When she hangs up, she's relieved because she knows that is the last time that she will have to talk to him. He will not be able to call her anymore because her number has been changed. She is so stressed out, she starts to have nightmares about Paul. That is, yeah, that's sad. She doesn't deserve that. Nobody does. The next morning, she wakes up at 4:30 a.m. She's got the early shift at work, and she heads out to the parking garage where all the people who live in the dorm park, and there's something sprayed all over her car. It's like a ooey substance, and she has no idea what it is. However, she's very much aware that it's Paul. She goes to the campus police and she reports the incident. They tell her, due to the fact that she has no witnesses and she didn't see Paul do it, there's nothing that they can do. And that's how it goes. I know that for a fact. Somebody keyed up one of my friend's cars and we knew who it was, but because none of us saw them do it, the police couldn't do anything. That sucks. 7 weeks after the initial assault, she's having a great time. School is going better, work is going great, she's got friends, she's hanging out with friends, having a little frozen yogurt. You know, she's just hanging out, doing the things that college kids do. After the frozen yogurt with one of her good girlfriends, they get back to the parking garage and they're walking in. As they're walking in, they're laughing, they're joking. You know, it's a great day. Then
Paul came towards me.
broke my heart when I saw that. I said, what? Who the hell? Really? This poor girl thought she was dying. I mean, absolute mental health issues. Has to be. Really? She doesn't want to be bothered. She doesn't want you smothering her. She doesn't want you affecting her grades, her friendship, her life, period. And this is what you do. Thankfully, she did not die. They were able to get her to the hospital. She did sustain some major injuries, but she was able to make a full recovery. The police were able to find Paul Gomez an hour later. Someone spotted him run into the woods. He was covered in blood. When they found him, he had taken his shirt off. In January of 2014, Gomez, who's 21 years old, pled guilty to attempted murder and other charges and was sentenced to 18 years in prison, followed by 5 years of probation when he's finally out of prison. I mean, really? There were so many signs, and I wish she would have told people and got help. She said that she didn't tell anybody because she felt embarrassed, and she didn't really understand if that's how relationships worked, considering that was her only relationship at the time. Yeah, I'm just glad that she made it and that she's alive. When he hit her with that car and then beat her like that, she could have died. That was devastating for that girl. And again, I'm just happy she made it. And until next time, bye.